Hi everyone and welcome back to my team on F1 2020. Last time out we started things off at the Australian Grand Prix with our brand new team, Holloway Racing Team, or HRT for short. And it was a good start actually in Australia. We finished in, I actually can't remember what position it was, I think it was like 15th and 16th for us, and then Callum Ilott, who was our teammate. Now I made a bit of a mistake with my driver outfits and my team colour and stuff, making it the exact same as Alfa Romeo. I did realise afterwards that you can change this, so yeah, it's in the the corporate stuff, I think. So yeah, I changed that now. I still might have to make some tweaks to it because I think we might be a bit similar to Mercedes now, but yes, I think I'm just going to have to try and tweak it a bit over the coming races to see what happens. I mean, our team colours still look absolutely terrible with the change. We look like something out of a pick and mix thing, to be honest, but yeah, we still don't have enough money to upgrade any of these facilities yet, so there's not really a whole lot that we can sort of do at this stage to progress in those areas, or in taking on any kind of personnel. So yeah, just got to keep on going for the time being, then rack up some more money, and we'll see where that leads us in after a few more races. I think what I've got to try and do though is upgrade our car just as much as we can. We're getting some good resource points. We did well in practice in Australia, and those good results as well helped us to get some good points. We've already got a chassis upgrade on the way quite soon, I think before Vietnam, but not for this race. So yeah, we'll be looking to upgrade the aero as well. That's another area that we're lacking in quite a bit, so we are going to look to get that on the car. This is after one of the updates, so but if you watched the first episode you'll have seen that it was right at the start of the game before a lot of the updates. This one has the updated Williams livery, and it's also put the Ferrari teams down a little bit. There might, for all I know, there could be an even newer one by the time this comes out that's dropped them even lower, but yep, it's now Mercedes at the top then, so there has been some slight changes to knock the Ferrari powered teams down a bit at this stage. So yeah, we're getting aero upgrades on. We're also going to put some durability upgrades on as well. I think we did an engine one as well there, because I think the Mercedes team had one. I could have sworn I remembered ages ago they said that if the main engine supplier had upgrades then you'd get it as well, but I don't know. I don't know if I missed something there or if that was just not true, but yeah, I don't know what happened there. Into practice then. Once again, it's actually quite straightforward in practice. We passed most things. We were purple in the track acclimatization, the fuel, the tyres. I think we only got green in the ERS, but we were purple in the race strategy. So it was once again a very successful run in practice up until we did the qualifying program. Once again, I mean, look at this. We're in rich, we're in hot lap, and I mean, we're nearly 2/10 down by the time we even reach the first corner, and just the delta is just rising so fast that there's just no chance that we're going to be able to beat it. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, once again that was the only one that we failed there. We got some more good resource points there, so we're still looking very good then to just keep on upgrading as much as we can and hopefully make our way up the field a bit more as our team is also gaining some acclaim. We move on now then to qualifying, and we'll see where we can end up this time. We obviously made a bit of a mess last time of our qualifying with being in the wrong engine mode and then also going out too late for our final run, so that 20th place may not have been as that reflective of where we actually are. We'll have to see what we can do this weekend then instead, as we go 5th then with a 27.1 on our initial run. So not too bad, but there you can see Callum Ilott was once again out qualifying us, as we were very wide there in the penultimate corner and just about managed to keep on the road, as we're on for an improved lap time here then. And as you can see, we do seem to be closer to the Haas's then. As I said, the Ferrari team then have now moved down a bit with the update that was in place at that time. We go ahead of Ilott then with that second run, and now onto our final run, which we did have time to do then, and you can see it's very close then. We were sort of dipping under and over the delta time there, It was very close. We needed two very good final points here though, but we went a bit wide. And as you can see there, we did push it a bit too far that time, and we did invalidate. And as you can see, Ilot had gone back ahead of us then, so we were really trading lap times here then in this session. We were, and you can see that the two Haas's there. Well, Grosjean was behind us, but then he improved, and in fact Magnussen just before we crossed the line also improved. So it looked like we were getting close to them, but once again we've ended up 19th and 20th on the grid, and once again it's Ilot ahead of us then. So we've ended up in pretty much exactly the same position as we were in Australia, even though we ended up with 3 qualifying laps then, although the last one was invalidated, but it would have been very close as to if we would have even beaten our time. Bottas on pole then from Hamilton and Leclerc, so yeah, you can see the Mercedes then looking a lot more like in real life there then, although not anywhere near as far ahead. But yeah, we continue to improve our acclaim then, and this very light blue garage that we've got now then is where we will be waiting then to start the second race of the season.
We're here again then at a circuit famous for its stunning visuals and thrilling battles for glory. Who will take the spotlight in the Bahrain Grand Prix today? Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you know, you got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Ricciardo, Norris, Ocon, Perez, and Daniel Kvyat, Stroll, Giovinazzi, Sebastian Vettel, and Gasly, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean, and Carlos Sainz. Ireland, the scientist, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
It looks like we'll be running the same strategy that we used in Australia then, start on the medium tyres and then going over to the hards at around about half distance. Looks like the team have a bit more faith in the strategy than they did in Australia, and yeah, they're only predicting the soft tyres to work then on a 2-stop, and that seemed about 10 seconds slower there from the looks of that chart. So it looks like we're on very much the optimum strategy here from where we're starting, and it looks like the two Williams have also joined us then in running this strategy as well. So I think it'll be quite important for us to stay ahead of them here, certainly more than it was in Australia, because they're on the same strategy. So, you know, in Australia they may have been expected to overtake us because they're on the softer tyres, but yep, here is a straight fight and we want to stay ahead of them if we can. Sainz in a bit out of position there in front of us as well, but yeah, we'll see if we can challenge the Haas's then as the lights are coming on. We're away then, and it is a pretty good launch there, I thought, but I think the mistake I made here was that I just didn't go straight into overtake. I finally did, but there was a little bit late there, and Ilot was ahead of us. We were quite late on the brakes there, but I think just because we were too late going into the overtake there, we just really couldn't do much once we were reaching the braking zone at turn 1 as Russell has driven into the side of us there, then trying to go around the outside. Looks like there's a bit of damage there as Latifi goes for a lunge then. He's going to pass all three of us then by the looks of things, but is Ilot there going to hang on around the outside? It looks like he might just. We've been bumped down to 21st then for the moment. It looks like Latifi, has he just about done enough there? Well, we're going to go for a bit of an ambitious lunge here then, which may not be the best idea as we're 3 wide into his hairpin. There's a bit of contact with Latifi, but we both know we haven't. Ilot's managed to get ahead. We have not quite managed to get ahead, but we're going around the outside and into turn 10, we just about managed to get ahead then, and yeah, we're back up to where we started then in 20th position. So not the best start then, but we managed to crucially then maintain our position over the two Williams eventually there, and it looks like one of them also has some damage as well. We are seeing now then a replay of the start, the team Mercedes then leading away from pole position. As you can see that we had the run initially on our teammate, and then we just didn't go into overtake, so that left us a little bit on the back foot. We had to go for a bit of a lunge into turn 1, and by that point the gap really wasn't there for us to do much, and we ended up sort of squeezed a bit by, I think, our teammate and also the Haas driver there, as Russell really driving into a closing gap, I think, there and damaging his front wing, as the Latifi also went through there as well. On to lap 4, and quite encouraging here then to see that we were maintaining pace with the two Haas drivers. It looks like they're also on the medium tyres as well then. The only thing for us at this point though is that we're in a bit of a train here, we can't really do much. I think Grosjean at the head of this train might just have DRS on that Alpha Tauri that's a little bit up the road, and the thing is we just can't do anything here. We're in a DRS train. Look, the cars in front of us have DRS as well, like they're all just getting in a straight line, so there's very little that we can do except just maintain this pace really and see if an opportunity will present itself to us then, as we skip now into lap 6, where it's all still very close then, and it does seem that we have a bit of a pace advantage at this point over the two Haas drivers. If only we could actually get through, as Ricciardo's in then for a very, very early stop there, so that's looking like a 2-stop, and it's now looking like the two Haas drivers are maybe going to have a bit of a battle here then. That was Grosjean going defensive. Oilot was very slow in turn 1 there, we nearly ran straight into the back of him there. So yeah, you can see just how much we're being held up really by the two Haas drivers scrapping here then, as Magnussen is going to go up the inside here into turn 4. Has he done enough? Well, they're still side by side then, and yeah, this is really hurting all of our races here because we're all getting slowed up here. We really need them to make a bit of a gap here so that both me and Oilot can dive through, but no, they're just causing a roadblock really here, just driving side by side round every corner. So yeah, there's not a whole lot we can do here then, as Grosjean has a bit of a lock up, so does Oilot there, and Magnussen is finally through then and into 16th place then, after going side by side for half a lap there then, as we continue then to follow at the end of lap 7, going into lap 8 now. Quite a few cars in the pits then, as we are now seeing the leaders are going to come out then into this battle. Hamilton there at least, don't know where Bottas is, probably hasn't pitted yet. Verstappen is right alongside us then, and we go around the outside of him there then on cold tyres. But yeah, they've emerged right into this battle, and then Verstappen has hit us there and gone off the road. Once again, I think he was very much driving into a closing gap there. I really don't think there's much space for him to be driving into, and he nearly put me in the wall there. As we see us on board then, diving out of the pits then, almost running into both of our cars there, and then, well, unsurprisingly he gets a good run, but there was just never going to be a gap there. We were taking the normal racing line, and well, that gap was just never going to be there, and he's lost himself quite a few positions there, but I don't think that he lost himself any front wing, which obviously is important for him there. Now then, on to lap, end of that lap then, and we once again have a good run on Oilot then. We might actually be close enough here to go for a move. In fact, no, we're not, because Oilot is going to go for the move this time on Grosjean, who does not have DRS, and finally he's going to go through then, as we've got Leclerc and Albon also emerging into this battle as well then. Grosjean very start at turn 2, that's surely going to give us a run here up towards turn 3. Verstappen has already caught us back up. Up towards turn 4, Grosjean goes defensive into the apex. Sorry Callum, I don't think this is working out. I mean, you really shouldn't have been there, you know, in that position for me to run into you. You know the deal here, you're not supposed to be ahead of me. But yeah, anyway, also all jokes aside, yeah, that was definitely, you know, my mistake there. Yeah, I went way too deep. I felt like I was braking around at the same time, but evidently I wasn't. But maybe it was just because I was offline. But yeah, Oilot makes a good move there on Grosjean to get up a position, and yeah, Grosjean was very slow on the exit there. But Oilot's got a move done here, and he's got DRS. He's thinking, yeah, he's made a good move, and then into turn 4, and well, his teammate just comes out of nowhere there I say his teammate, me, I come out of nowhere. But thankfully for him, he didn't get any damage from that, so it's really me then who made the mistake who has to suffer from that, and luckily no one else, I guess. So I guess that works out in a way, at least for our teammate then. It's not a total disaster. Verstappen then inevitably goes through. Thankfully his front wing damage isn't too bad, so we can still drive with it, but it's certainly not going to help us then, and I think it will be beneficial for us to change it during our stop, so that is not going to have done us many favours then. As Vettel then is going to go for a move as he went for it, but didn't manage to make it stick. Then he barged into the side of us and could not make it through despite being on the fresh soft tyres there. So not the best race so far then for our championship leader, who obviously had a grid penalty at the start of the race as well then, but he does eventually go around the outside of us then into turn 9, and he is up a place then. As you can see, after a few more laps we are not doing too badly. We're only about a second lap behind us. Ricardo then goes for a nice dive there into turn 10, and you don't often see overtakes there. I mean, I know he's on much fresher tyres than us, but that is not usually an overtaking place, so it's quite impressive I think to see the AI there going for a bit of an opportunistic lunge there, seeing that we were a bit slow and managing to make the move stick quite nicely there, I thought. But anyway, as I said, we're still within a couple of seconds of Ilott, so we're not losing massive amounts of time with this front wing damage, but it is clear that we're slower because of it, and Ocon is now going to go through. I think maybe in hindsight I should have pitted a bit earlier just to, you know, get this wing changed as quickly as possible, but I didn't want to be on like really worn hard tyres at the end. But I think it wouldn't have made too much difference, like a couple of laps. But anyway, we do gain a place back then because Daniel Ricciardo is out of the race then with some kind of car problem there, as Norris is having a look at us then into the final corner, but can't make it through there. And out onto the pit straight then, and there are more yellow flags, and well, for the second race in a row we just get passed in the yellow flags like it's nothing, so that's nice. But yeah, Norris is through then, and that yellow flag then was for Sebastian Vettel, the championship leader, out of the race then, and that very much looked like an engine failure, which is very surprising given that he'd already taken a 10th place grid penalty in at this weekend. So some very bad engine issues there going on with his car, and he is out of the race. We then come in for our pit stop on lap 13 to finally, it is lap 13 going into lap 14. We are finally going to change our tyres then and replace this front wing. As we see there, Grosjean is going to go through and he's going to be long gone, unfortunately, because we had maintained our position over him. But hopefully, well, because we were quicker before, we can catch him back up. I think if I'd stayed with that damaged front wing, I would have just gradually lost more and more time throughout the race. Whereas now, we are going to drop back a bit, but we do have a chance. I think we can potentially catch back up here, and it'll be a much more enjoyable race for us, I think, if we can actually, if we do have like the full capabilities of our car. So that's why I made the decision to change the front wing, even though I probably could have maybe stayed out on it. But I think the mistake I probably did make was that I stayed out too long on it. I think I should have brought my pit stop a bit more forward, I think, to get off it as quickly as possible. As you can see, we're 5 seconds behind Grosjean. After a few more laps then, we were only really taking a tenth or two per lap out of him, so I really needed Gasly here, who was just coming out of the pits then on a 2-stop, I think, to really go after these two and slow them up. But unfortunately, he rejoined from the pit right in front of me there and really just held us both up a bit there. While I was really on a push here trying to catch back up, and he sort of emerged right into my path here coming out of the pits, and then he's going to pass me after only a few corners anyway. So it really just slowed up both of our progress here, and I really needed Gasly to just overtake me, pull away, catch Grosjean and Ilott, because I think Magnussen was too far up the road. But yeah, I just needed him to catch them up and slow them down a bit so that they'd come back towards me a bit. We had got the gap down to less than 4 seconds with 6 laps to go, but it wasn't quite looking like enough at this stage. But yeah, Gasly had got through at that point, so I was hoping they would slow down a bit more. As you can see, after only a few more laps, we had actually got the gap down to just 2 seconds. But I think it is going to be just a little too late here, because yeah, we just really needed to get to within a second, and then we could have maybe caught up a bit faster because of the DRS, but it didn't quite work out that way. We were just we weren't taking enough out of them a lap. We were definitely quicker, but just not enough quicker to overcome that margin that we obviously created for ourselves at that by damaging our front wing there. But nonetheless, then we're on to the final lap, and we are finally just about getting within a second, but it is just too late. If only there were like another couple of laps, then we'd have a bit of a battle here. We'd be on for maybe taking a few more positions here, but it didn't work out that way, as Lewis Hamilton has already won the race then, so we're quite a way behind then obviously, but yeah, we don't have to worry about, well, we're not worrying about that anytime soon, I don't think. So we're really focused on right now then, and if we can actually catch Grosjean or Eilert and overtake them here, but it's not looking likely then, as probably one of our last chances there was down that DRS straight, but we just weren't close enough. We have got a bit of battery left, so I think we're just going to go overtake for these final two straight, see if we can get anywhere near close enough. But I think we've literally just about run out of time there, just about run out of laps here to, you know, go for any positions here. I think we're just going to be pipped here by our teammate Callum Eilert, and I think, to be fair, that is probably only right considering we did run into the side of him quite carelessly earlier on in the race. We crossed line then for 18th position, so not really where we wanted to be there, but I mean, it's still, for the second race running then, we have got 2 cars home, as Sainz then was the driver of the day. He started 18th, so I imagine he probably worked his way up into the points from there then, as yeah, business then is resumed, well, as resumed as normal then at the front, with Mercedes winning the race then, and I think it was a 1-2 then, Hamilton ahead of Bottas there, I think. So yeah, much more what we are used to seeing then. The reigning world champion is winning once again here then, and obviously that patch will have helped him then. Verstappen, bit of disappointing day for him then, as we saw he ran into us, and he's only 6th then by the look of things, so I think he's been beaten by Albon for the second week running there. As we now see then the podium, it was in fact Leclerc then in second, so he still managed to split the 2 Mercedes then, and has finished in second place then in both races so far, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's right. I think it was a Ferrari 1-2 back in Australia. So Leclerc then with 2 second place finishes then, so a nice consistent season for him so far. But yep, Mercedes then looking quick once again. As we see the final results then, confirmation then that Hamilton won. Leclerc took the fastest lap then, so that's an extra point for him. And Albon then up in 4th, so another strong result for him. And Sergio Perez there, very impressive, up in 5th place. So yeah, no wonder Verstappen wasn't looking too happy there in Parc Fermé, because even the Racing Point managed to beat him there. Kvyat up in 8th place there by the looks of things, or 7th, I didn't quite see that there. But looking further down then, Vettel, Ricciardo, the 2 retirements today then. Russell a lap down after that incident on the first lap, and their HRT then in 17th and 18th places. So a couple of places lower then from Australia, but still, as I said, we got 2 cars home then in 2 races, so I think that's a very solid start to the season then, as Hamilton has taken over the lead of the Drivers' Championship with that win. We have dropped down to 17th place then, because Norris has now scored a better result than us here today then in Bahrain, and Mercedes then have moved to the top of the championship by just 2 points then over Ferrari. That DNF for Vettel there proving costly for the team. Racing Point move up to 4th, and AlphaTauri move up to 6th. So in the team acclaim then, we have gained a bit. We're up to level 2 now then, and the team has also gained a bit as well. Get a nice bit of payout there then, just a bit of damage there then for us on our front wing to deal with this weekend, but nothing too much. Some nice earnings once again there. And that is it then for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you next time then. Well, we'll be racing at a new track then, the Hanoi Street Circuit in Vietnam. I really don't like the track at all, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that was it then for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.